What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers obviously took a bit of a whooping against the Toronto Raptors. In their defense, they were missing, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Wayne Gabriel, Patrick Beverley, and they played probably the worst team with the lack of size because Toronto's nothing but like 6'7" to 7 foot wing players. So it's probably the worst team that they could have played, having all their size out for a team that already has a lack of true size, especially on the perimeter. They ended up losing any size that they did have in LeBron, Gabriel, Davis, and his monster performance. So the game went as accordingly as what many expected it to be. But one guy that may have been an audition is Gary Trent Jr. So Gary Trent Jr. is a very interesting situation for Toronto specifically because Toronto, they have to pay like OG coming up soon, obviously Scotty Barnes, many others. They're going to have to make some tough decisions in the coming years, as well as Gary Trent Jr. being a free agent after this season. And he's a target that has been linked to the Lakers for some time. He also falls under what kind of the Lakers are looking for according to Woj, which the Lakers want like an all-star level or, a potential all-star level player. Gary Trent Jr. could potentially fit that. Now, obviously, they wouldn't be trading Russell Westbrook. It'd be something along the lines of Kendrick Nunn, Patrick Beverley. And for Toronto, the reason they would consider this is not because they want these guys, of course not, but very likely they're going to lose Gary Trent Jr. after this season. And it also looks like Toronto is almost preparing for that because of the lack of play time and even starting that he has endured, right? Like last year, started a lot for them. He was also one of the top players to to have 30-point games last season. So he was really good last season and very young. 23 years old, 24 years old. So he's a guy that would make a lot of sense for the Lakers for not only now, but the long haul. Good size at 6'5". Obviously, Lakers definitely need wing players, but they also need some shooting, and they need a guy that could kind of alleviate and take some pressure off of LeBron, AD, Russell Westbrook, even guys like Walker and Reeves, and Gary Trent could really provide that. And he's a player that you could have for the long haul, a player that the Lakers will very likely target in the offseason. So they can kind of expedite that to some degree and go get Gary Trent, then why not, right? Maybe they could also even get a couple other pieces, right? So take Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, maybe like a Damian Jones. Maybe you could get an Otto Porter Jr., although that might be a little tricky because the whole reason he went to Toronto was for his wife. He actually took less money based on some reports to go to Toronto for his wife. He's only played 8 games. He's dealing with a toe injury, but he would be a perfect sort of player for the Lakers as well this year. He's only making $6 million a year, 6'8" size, 3-and-D style, wing type player. Although he is not shooting the three ball very well this year. He's like 32%, 33%. But he has proven over the years that he can shoot the ball. He was big for the Warriors, right? And so he would be a nice little compliment. But even if you can't get him, even if you're just going and getting Gary Trent Jr., that would just be a huge bolster to the Lakers and just kind of provide a lot of what the Lakers need, right? A consistent scorer, a guy that could shoot the ball, a guy that has the potential to go off for, 30 a night or whatever, a guy that can not only help you now, but for the future. It would just come down to assets that Toronto would want. In this scenario, I kind of wish we had a THT because Toronto tried to trade for THT twice that we know of. And so it would have been kind of, I think, a bit more of an incentive of like, hey, we'll give you THT who you've coveted and wanted for some time, as well as we'll give you, a first round pick or something like that. Like that might have been hugely beneficial for the Lakers and something that Toronto may have been more willing to. Now it would be more of like Toronto looking at it as like, hey, we are going to lose Gary Trent. Might as well get something for Gary Trent. Realistically, Toronto's probably not winning the championship this year anyway. So why not unload a guy that doesn't seem to be a piece for the long haul, doesn't seem to be a player that they plan on keeping beyond this season. So why not get some assets, especially if you get one of the Lakers first, very likely an unprotected first, probably a couple seconds, something like that. Maybe you could even get like Chicago's second round pick from the Lakers this season, which might be a pretty decent pick. Kind of just, stack some assets and kind of build for the future. And then if you're the Lakers, you're getting a young 23, 24-year-old scorer who is a 3-and-D guy, could slot in perfectly. I mean, you could have Walker, Gary Trent Jr., say Dennis Schroeder, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis as your starting five. Like, that's not a bad starting five. You got some good defense. You're still lacking size on the perimeter, but you basically got, Dennis Schroeder, who can provide slashing, scoring, defense. Walker has been very solid defensively for the Lakers this year. Gary Trent can provide some defense and some shooting. You also get that shooter in Gary Trent in the starting lineup that could be hugely beneficial. And also, if the Lakers could acquire him for one first, that also gives you, Russ and another first to go do another deal later if you need to. This might be one of the best deals for the Lakers, just because you could get a young player and asset, especially if you could get Otto Porter. However, I don't know. One, would Toronto be willing to trade him? And two, would Porter want to be traded? Because again, the whole reason he went there was for his wife, because his wife is from there. And then three, what would the cost be in order to get Gary Trent? Now, the beauty is, I don't know how much of a bidding war the Lakers would have to go up against to get a Gary Trent, because any other team that would want to go after him, one, has to have the salaries to match, for one, but also two, they would have to give up assets that are greater than the Lakers' assets. But also, would they want to take the risk of, we go and trade for Gary Trent and he leaves us at the end of the year, and now we're stuck holding, the bag, and we gave up some assets for, a 6-month rental, whatever, right? Where the Lakers, they might have some incentive. He might have some incentive to sign there too. One, being in LA, two, being in a big spotlight, three, the type of role that he'd have. He would be a huge part of the Lakers team, as opposed to Toronto right now. He's kind of fallen out of favor in many ways. And I think a lot of that is just Toronto preparing. They're trying to get ready and build the team, and they're really focused on real size, right? Like, if they had their way, they would have nothing but 6'8" to 7-foot players on the court, right? 1 through 5, just a bunch of point forwards. That's kind of what they're trying to build in Toronto. So Gary Trent kind of is the odd man out, right? And so if the Lakers can sort of entice Toronto, at which Toronto and the Lakers have had multiple conversations over the last few years on various trades. They even had a deal done with them, the Knicks, and the Lakers, and then the Knicks ended up messing the whole deal up. So at least we know Toronto isn't against, trying to work out some deal with the Lakers. Gary Trent, again, is the odd man out. He's a target that the Lakers have had before. There's been rumors and speculations of Gary Trent to the Lakers for some time now. He's supposed to be a target in the offseason. So if you can get him now, why not get him now? Especially if, you could use other things to get other pieces, or if he works and slots in perfectly, and let's say that is the missing piece that kind of maybe not makes you a bona fide contender, but makes you that much better. Well, now you can re-sign him. You can re-sign Russ if you want. You'd have bird rights on essentially everybody. He'd also give you some cap flexibility, things like that, because he's not going to get some crazy, insane contract. So you very likely would still have some cap space to where maybe you keep Walker or Reeves. Although Walker, I think Walker's played himself into too big of a contract. I think you're going to lose Walker regardless. So Gary Trent might be sort of a nice little piece to kind of make a piece that kind of just makes up for that, the loss of Walker, guy you can have for the long haul. And then the Lakers kind of look at making other deals, other moves to maybe bolster this roster even further. Maybe then at that point, maybe you do take Russ and you go look at maybe a Hornets deal. Maybe if you could get PJ Washington, Terry Rozier, and Kelly Oubre or something like that, and just kind of full-fledged go all in, especially with the way that Anthony Davis, LeBron James are playing. If you were ever going to go all in, now would be the time. So hopefully the Lakers could work something out. I think Gary Trent would be a perfect piece for the Lakers. Again, very young, very talented already. A guy that is proven that he can score and shoot and do provide basically everything the Lakers need. Ideally you'd want him to be like 6'8", but you take what you can get. And if he's a valuable piece that the Lakers can realistically obtain, I think you go get him. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. What do you think? Do you think, yeah, if the Lakers can get Gary Trent, go get Gary Trent? Where do you rank him amongst like other players that are rumored and linked to the Lakers? Would you want him over everybody else, like I say, a Bojan Bogdanovic or Josh Richardson or something like that? However you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere between. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comment section below.